Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's point out the obvious first of all. My fake tan is still going away, and you've probably noticed in a few of my videos recently that my skin tone is different on my face and my neck. I'm trying to wash it off in the bath, but if you're a girl and you fake tan often, you know the struggle. I always regret doing it every time I do it, and yet I still love doing it. Also, I have a huge ass spot on my chin. Soz about it, but you're gonna have to just try not to focus on it for the entirety of this video. I went to go see Avengers Endgame, and I'm going to give two disclaimers at the beginning of this video. One, if you have not seen Endgame yet, please obviously do not watch this video. I'm going to put in the title down below as well that there are spoilers in here. I'll put it in the thumbnail, I'll say it right now. There are going to be complete and utter spoilers, so if you're a huge Marvel fan and you haven't seen Endgame and you do not want it spoiled for you, do not watch this video any further. Go watch it in the cinema and then come back to my channel and show me some love. Secondly, I am not actually an MCU huge fan or anything like that. I have only seen, let's see if I can list the ones I've seen. The first one I ever saw was Infinity War, and I know a lot of people think that's really weird, but I wasn't meant to go see it. I just thought I'd give it a chance because my sisters were really into it and it really got me into the whole universe and everything. Endgame, obviously. I've seen Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming, Doctor Strange, that's 5. But I've seen at least 5 Marvel movies. However, I've not watched them all in order. I haven't been a fan for years and years and years, and I haven't seen all 22 of them. So I'm just going to put that disclaimer on here because I know that that will kind of skew my review of the film, and it wouldn't have had quite the impact on me as it would have someone that's been following the series for so long, and there are certain references and little hidden gems in there that I will not have picked up on that I won't be mentioning. There are certain characters that I won't even know the names of. So for all intensive purposes, I'm just going to let you know that I am not a huge MCU fan, so if I make any mistakes or anything like that, I'm just clarifying right now that I know barely anything. However, this is my review and I'm going to give you a completely new outlook to the series and to Avengers Endgame because I am literally starting afresh with barely any knowledge. It should be interesting to see someone's review on it when they know hardly anything. I feel like this will make it quite unique review, if anything, so please don't attack me in the comments. I'm just admitting it to you. Captain Marvel, let's start with that. Obviously at the end of Infinity War there was a little sneak peek at the end after the credits, and it was kind of built up to be like Captain Marvel was going to come and she's going to save the day, and in my mind I thought she was going to be the one that's so all-powerful that they had to call in only this kind of emergency, that she was going to be at least a huge role in bringing back the other Avengers, and she might even defeat Thanos herself, or at least be one of the main factors in defeating him, if that makes sense. Now I was quite shocked that she wasn't in it as much as I thought she initially would be. She kind of only shows up in the beginning of the film. She saves Tony Stark from space from dying. Obviously I knew he wasn't going to die at the beginning of the film. I did unfortunately spoil it for myself on Twitter. Literally the night before seeing it, I go on Twitter thinking everything's safe, everyone's protecting the secrets. I go on Robert Downey Jr.'s Twitter and someone's replied to him RIP, and I'm like, sick mate, you absolute moron. Literally everybody else was playing fair, no spoilers. I'd managed to avoid them going through the hashtag, like everyone was playing game, everyone was being respectful, and then this twat said RIP and I was like, great, Tony Stark dies. Which I had heard rumours of because, you know, the whole series started with Iron Man, so it would make sense that his story kind of ends with him dying. And then she doesn't really show up much. There's one scene where she's like talking in a bunch of holographics, a bunch of other heroes, and she's had a haircut, and the little raccoon, see, people are going to hate me because I don't know any names. He makes a joke about her new haircut and she says something sassy back. I thought that was pretty cool that they gave her that haircut. Apparently she has it in the original comics. Wow, I can't speak. And so that was a little Easter egg in there for fans, which I didn't actually know until I researched it afterwards. So again, because I'm not a huge fan, I just thought, oh cool, she's had a haircut, what was really the point of that? But then after I kind of figured it out. And then she kind of shows up at the end of the film, pretty badass. There's one part where she's full on fighting Thanos and I was literally on the edge of my seat. Like I remember full on leaning forward and being like, oh my god, I was literally like this in my seat just watching, like, no. And she did come across really badass, really kind of all-powerful. I think the main reason they might have cut her part down a little bit is because Captain Marvel was made to be so strong that I feel like she could have easily just overpowered Thanos. Like at the beginning of the film when they chop off his head and easily kill him before all this time travel stuff. She easily overpowers him, even though he's weak and like nearly dying. I feel like they kind of drew her back a little bit and had her be less of a role in the film, because otherwise there would be no like on the edge of your seat like, oh, are they going to win, if you know what I mean, because I feel like they made her a little bit too powerful. Endgame, I thought her character was really cool. Brie Larson seemed to give a pretty good performance in my opinion, and I really liked the character. I feel like the film didn't really feel like 3 hours to me, and not being a fan as well, I really thought that it would drag on, but just like Infinity War, it went so quick. Like, it felt like less than an hour, I'm not even kidding. When it ended I was like, what? Obviously I knew it was the end, but it was just so shocking because it did not feel like 3 hours to me, and I think that's a good sign that the film was really engaging and it just kept you locked and interested all the time. And considering I'm not a fan either, and I'm not getting half the references and stuff, and not understanding like when they're going back in time to all these different eras and stuff, and I'm not getting the references and the connections to the other films and all this, I was still just as engaged and still could follow along and still could understand it and still could laugh at the jokes and all of this. I think it was really well done. The beginning hour or so was quite dragged out. They were kind of showing everybody's grieving process of losing everybody, but I feel like they kind of had to do that to build it up and kind of make you think, wait, maybe they are actually dead, maybe they're not coming back, but I'm pretty sure everybody knew that they would all be coming back in the end. That's the only bit that kind of did drag a little bit, but not really, in my opinion. Like, I think if I was to rewatch it, that might be the bit that I would skip past, but watching it first time, and if you're a huge fan, I didn't think it was too draggy, so I thought it was really well done. And one thing I will point out is when they go to see Thor, and it's like at the beginning when everybody's all depressed and stuff, and he's so depressed and like feeling guilty for everything that happened in Infinity War. I think he's in, oh god, people are gonna hate me, he's in Asgard, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I just got that right, well done me. He's there with some Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm pretty sure, I hope. They're playing like Fortnite, which, lol, I can't believe Fortnite was even in this. They make a few jokes, and there's like a kid who's swearing at the guy whose name I don't know, so I'm really sorry. Listen, I haven't seen all of the films, so just bear with me here, do not hate. And then he goes on and he's like, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna smash your face, or whatever it is that Thor says. Really humorous and really hilarious, and I found myself laughing and chuckling. I heard that this film was gonna be funny, and when I told my friend this, she was like, how's it going to be funny? Like, it's going to be depressing. And I'm like really impressed that they were able to do that as a kind of fan service and give a bit of like humour to the last Avengers film, because I feel like they needed it. It couldn't all just be gloom and doom and violence. I feel like there had to be a bit of comic relief in there, and there definitely was quite a lot, even though it was dealing with serious subjects. However, with Thor putting on weight, when he first turned around and had a huge stomach, it was quite funny, not ha-ha funny, like I didn't laugh out loud, I was like, So obviously he's known to be really strong and all that, and he turns around and he's really fat and stuff, but when you really think about it, and the fact that he's really fat and all of this, and he's like crying in that scene where he sees his mum and he's like, snap out of it, and he's like having a panic attack. Maybe I'm being a bit snowflakey, but I don't think they should have handled it in that way. I don't think it was particularly funny. I think reducing his character to being the butt of a joke the whole film, surely huge fans of Thor must have been a bit like, oh, not really liking that. And I did see a few things on Twitter of people not really liking that, how it kind of unwound all of his character like development and how they kind of did him dirty with that, especially kind of using mental health as like a punchline to a joke when he's actually suffering. And I also heard from my research that Tony Stark in one of the films, he actually has a panic attack, and they deal with it in a much more serious way and make him look more vulnerable and human, and kind of give a message of like, oh, just because he's this badass, he's still human and blah blah blah, he's still suffering and he's got PTSD and he's having a panic attack, and they deal with it in a much more serious way. So I think if you're going to do that in one of your films with a hero, you then can't take another hero and use that exact same kind of mental health thing and use it as a punchline. That's the one thing I didn't agree with, and I didn't find it particularly funny. That's just me nitpicking. Some people agree with that, some people don't. Let me know your thoughts on it. There's this bit at the end where Captain America manages to grab one of Thor's hammers. When everybody gasped when he got it, I was like, I didn't really get it, because I haven't obviously seen other films So I was like, why are they all gasping? But then I kind of figured, oh, it's probably just only 4 can pick it up, and apparently there is a scene in another film, sorry for my ignorance again, they're all like kind of joking around drinking or something, and they're all trying to pick up the hammer, and Captain America like nearly picks it up but not quite. So I think that was really satisfying for all of the fans. I know that the reaction in my cinema was big, it was like and I was just like, well, why is everyone gasping? It's great when you go see a film like that where there's such an atmosphere in the cinema, and you only get that with big franchises where people have really dedicated a lot of years to their lives to it. I am sad that I didn't get the full effect of that because obviously I didn't really understand the reference, but it seems like Marvel set that up really well. Apparently there's a lot of fan service in this for fans. So obviously Black Widow, I'm pretty sure it is, I'm hoping, she ends up having to die when they go back in the past to retrieve one of the stones, just like Gamora in Infinity War. One thing my sisters pointed out was that she literally falls and lands in the same position on the floor as Gamora, and it's almost identical to Gamora's scene, other than the fact that the two of them are kind of fighting over who's gonna jump, and that was really sad. I didn't shed a tear just because I don't really know who Black Widow is. My sister was saying that she was really upset by that, at least one of my sisters was. And the way they dealt with her death after, I kind of thought she'd just come back like everybody else, because all you really saw was a scene where they're like, damn, she's gone. And then Hulk like punches a bench and then throws it into the river or the lake or whatever it is, and they kind of just brush over it quite quick. It's like, we must do this for her now, there's no going back, there's no undoing this. And then they kind of push through that and just kind of brush over it quite quickly, and apparently she's quite a big character, so I didn't really think she was going to be dead. I thought she'd come back with the rest of the Avengers, so I was shocked at the end of the film when she didn't turn up again. But I understand, because obviously the film can't be like 5 hours long. Somebody had to die anyway. I was expecting at least a couple of deaths. Speaking of death, at the end of the film, this is the most epic part. I felt satisfied by the ending, and I'm not even a fan. I don't know if other people are satisfied. I know I was going on Tumblr looking at stuff. Some people think it's the perfect ending for Tony Stark. Some people are really upset because Pepper and his child, she's going to live without a father, and apparently he had no father, and so it's kind of a sad full circle thing. When the Avengers and Ant-Man initially approach him about it all, he's very like, I can't lose my family, I can't lose my daughter, like at all costs, I need to keep them. So it is sad that he ends up losing himself and leaving them all behind. He's really the only person that kind of was able to find peace and happiness, even though he'd lost Peter and obviously all the other people. He was able to move on and start a family and stuff, and I feel like it is sad that he is the one that had to die, but I did feel satisfied by it. It was really sad, and I did nearly cry, even though I'm not as attached to Tony Stark as anybody else would be. I did nearly cry because his death scene was just so, first of all, epic. When he put on the glove, I was like, he's a goner, he's dead. Thanos says something like, I am inevitable, and then he goes, I am Iron Man, and he clicks, and you're like, oh damn, he gone. Like, it's such an epic moment. You're like, yes, they're gonna win, but then you kind of realise, oh shit, that glove is too powerful for him, because it even like injured the Hulk. And just seeing him all burnt up and just on the floor like that, it was so sad. And then the whole full circle thing of Peter Parker coming along and being like, Mr. Stark, we did it, we won. Like, I started tearing up immediately. Peter Parker is my weak spot. I cry all the time when I see him on screen. I literally nearly cried when I saw him come out of the portal. Doctor Strange did, when they're all coming out, when they're coming back. He was the only one I cared about, but my baby, he's back. And of course not Doctor Strange, because I love Benedict Cumberbatch, we all know. And those are the 2 times I really did nearly cry. It was very full circle. He even calls him Tony for the first time, I'm pretty sure. It's just really sad. And then his wife comes along and she's like, you can rest now, and oh, it's just so sad. And not even being a fan, I was very satisfied and upset by that ending. And obviously at the end you see the funeral with everybody. I'm not going to say too much else on the film. I'm just going to say, go and watch it yourself. I would give it a 10 out of 10, which is a very high rating for me, because I'm always a bit critical of films and I have a really short attention span. Like, I literally cannot concentrate longer than like 5 minutes on a YouTube video these days. Sometimes when I'm watching Netflix I'll have to be on my phone as well, because I just get bored so quick. But this film for me, 3 hours went by super quickly. There was loads of funny moments, there was enough drama in it, enough Easter eggs for fans that I looked up afterwards, and I just thought that it was the perfect conclusion to the Avengers. I definitely need to go and see the first 2 Avengers to kind of clue myself in. I'm definitely gonna have a huge marathon one day or over a few days or weeks of all 22 films, just so that I can educate myself and start watching some of the new ones. I want to go see the new Spider-Man, I want to go see Captain Marvel. I really just want to see everything starting from Iron Man. So let me know the chronological order, or maybe I'll look it up myself. Let me know what you think of Endgame if you've gone to see it. If you haven't gone to see it, why are you watching this? I'm so sorry. I am impressed that film that I know hardly anything about, I was easily able to follow along, and there was barely anything where I was like, huh? I don't get it. I think that's a sign of good storytelling, and if it can stand alone as a standalone film, you know that it's a good piece of cinema. And I think the cinematography and the way it was directed and everything was amazing, and I don't really have much criticism other than the fall stuff. If you like this video, you can like, comment and subscribe. I make new videos every single week, or at least I try to. I'll see you in my next one. Also, check out this cute ass poster that I got. I really want to collect the other one and kind of go see it again, but first I want to go see Captain Marvel. I'm going to put it up in my room. Little fake fan I am. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.